David's soul is all smiles as he enters the Arches, his favorite wine bar in North London. He's been up since 6 a.m. and, having filled his coffee quota for the day, is ready for nice crisp glass of Sauvignon Blanc. This place is so eclectic. It's my favorite and it sort of reflects what's going on inside myself. He chimes in his Chicago accent as the waitress slips his wine across the bar. Thank ya, love. Here in London, the actor and former pop icon is just David, the local with no frills. He doesn't care about being recognized or getting stopped in the street by excitable fans of his TV or theater shows, films or music. People see me, but I'm just Dave. One day we'll get dog and I'll call him Dave the dog, he jokes, with an impressive Cockney twang. I've lived in the UK for 25 years and drink lot of tea, more now than ever have. From 1975, David was one of the most famous men in the world. Blonde-haired, blue-eyed heart-throb who played Detective Kenneth Hutchinson in Starsky Hutch. The actor was living in Los Angeles, the city the biggest stars called home, but David hated it with passion. It's hard to knock place that gives you life and livelihood, he reflects. When first went there it was absolutely gorgeous. There were orange groves in the valley, snow-capped mountains and the Pacific Ocean. Thing is, humanity was missing. That's what like about this country. You guys can still be surprised. In his 50-year career, David has done it all, from singing Mexican tunes to the American people. He learned to play the guitar in Mexico and sang indigenous songs, to scoring #1 singles like Silver Lady and Don't Give Up on Us, acting in classic TV shows like The Love Boat and starring in Clint Eastwood's action movie Magnum Force. He hit the road in theater shows and made his own documentary films, too. Now 76, David's fame has taken back seat in favor of quieter existence with his darling wife, Helen. He's been unlucky in relationships, marrying 5 times since the age of 20, but Helen, who he married in 2010, is the love of his life. She's home county's girl, he says in broad Berkshire accent. My wife is the most wonderful woman, caring, loving, tough and gentle. All of those things that make for longevity and interest. He doesn't have busy schedule, no important diary dates or meetings with his agent. I don't get out much anymore, he sings in whisper. Instead, he looks after his plants at home and is in the process of landscaping his garden. He and Helen have no children together, so they very sweetly name their plants instead. Gee whiz, this wacko! He exclaims, thumb to his chest. We have Obama, Diana and Nevada, Penelope, Rapunzel and Rumpelstiltskin, June, Coco and Homeboy. We have Richard III, too, who's real hunchback. He saw the ceiling and didn't want to go up there. Igor used to look after him but he's tired of carrying baggage. After string of health scares, including stay in intensive care, David's found himself little less mobile and says he's not into the business anymore. He'll go to the theater, but not on opening night. He doesn't care for the see and be seen routine. The first play did in the UK was Catch Me If You Can and is probably just as well forgotten. He smirks. Becoming an actor was never planned. As boy wanted to go into foreign service, teach and play professional baseball. I could never be put into box, especially with my music. Wasn't one hit wonder. And that enriched my life as an actor and human being, and that's more important than anything else. David's dad was pastor and the family grew up in very staunch, clear-cut and judgmental community. At 19, David's girlfriend became pregnant. He picked up his guitar and escaped to Minneapolis on Greyhound bus, just to be with her. Their parents demanded cream wedding dress, as they had sinned, and the pair married in the middle of howling blizzard in 1964. 1 year later, he found fame in New York as the covered man he sang while wearing mask, and finally made peace with his father. I had contract on the Merv Griffin show at the time, he reflects. Dad came out and we met Merv at his house at the Dakota building where John Lennon was murdered. We left together with bottle of champagne and talked all night long. From then on adored him. When he passed it was like the rug was pulled out from underneath me. Found really dear man and friend in him. David made some incredible friends throughout his career, including sidekick Starsky Paul Michael Glaser and string of legendary American writers like Gore Vidal and Stuart Stern, the Nobel laureate Elie Wiesel and hairstylist Vidal Sassoon. I slept with Paul Newman. How do you like that? He teases. We were skiing together and the hotel didn't have any more rooms, so Paul said could sleep in his bed. We both had the same stuntman, Dara Robinson, and we loved dirt bikes, too. David came face to face with royalty thanks to Starsky Hutch. He leans in, voice low, to tell the tale. I got Princess Margaret really smashed one afternoon. He laughs. We closed the set down, Paul, and took her to lunch and we emptied couple of bottles of gin. She told us the Queen Mother loved Starsky Hutch and called us nice boys. The iconic show was aired in 67 countries during its 4-year run. It was an institution and families around the world tuned in to see the cops catch bad guys in California. There's reunion on the cards with David, Paul and Antonio Fargas, who played the boys' bartender, informant and close friend, Huggy Bear. It's set to be held in Normandy at the ancient mill, Moulin Dandé. People are coming from all over the planet. David says, we've always wanted to work together again, so you never know, maybe something. We'll see. David might be best known for his TV role, but music has always been his first love. First performing folk songs in Mexico, then hitchhiking through the U.S. singing at the Café Au Go Go in New York City and touring the world with his band. He had 2 number ones and 5 top 15 hits between 1977 and 1982, and his album Gold is back on sale for Mother's Day. I sang because couldn't find job. He confesses, I bought guitar for $14 and cut my fingers on the strings trying to impress my girlfriend. The first song learned was, he sings, the autumn leaves drift by my window. The autumn leaves are red and gold. I'm sure she was impressed as bandaged up. Sadly, David doesn't sing anymore because of health problems. He's battled lung cancer and had tracheotomy during 72-day spell in intensive care following traumatic hip operation. Still, he remembers the magic of singing before the money and the fame. It's realizing that you have voice, and that other people like it, too. He explains. You know that show The Masked Singer? They stole it. I'm the man who started it in New York in 1965. Wouldn't speak and it drove people crazy. Then bombed one night at Café Au Go Go. The sound of chairs scraping on wooden floor gave me strong message. Maybe should take the mask off. From that day David was the heart-throb singer, loved by all including his mother June. Later in life, she was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease but would still lie peacefully in bed at night, listening to her son's music. Mum was vibrant woman but she gave up everything for the 5 of us. He reflects, my love for music came from her. She organized singers group at the house every week and taught me the songs of Schubert and Schumann. Think she'd be very pleased. David's album is not about the money, it's about the music. He's celebrating his life and all the amazing people he has met along the way. That is young David on the cover. He says, I've grown up proudly. I've been there and done that. Now it's time to plant my wildflowers for springtime. How David Soul spends his Sundays in London lie, in or up with the lark. The weekend works little different. Guess was excited to see you this morning and that's why got up at 6 a.m. You can believe that if you like. Go ahead. Fruit, porridge or full English. Fruit and porridge. Make breakfast for my wife every single morning. Dried porridge, milk and cut up bananas, nectarines, easy peelers, an apple and blueberries and occasionally pomegranate. Put little honey on top of that. I've never really got into full English. Don't like the sausages over here. Like German wurst and American beef hot dogs. Newspapers or TV. Both. Get The New York Times and The Washington Post. On TV my favorite is Channel News because it's more in-depth and they talk to people. Like John Snowlot. Home-cooked roast or pub lunch. Helen is fabulous cook. She pays me back for her breakfasts. You should have been over for Mexican last Sunday. We had great burritos with chicken, corn and salsa, guacamole and black beans. It was fabulous. Chores or day of rest? I've never taken nap in my life. Don't like that. Do all the dishes. We've had broken dishwasher for long time now and got new one just few days ago. Finally. Feel little bit like somebody took away real joy for me. Don't mess with my system. Begrudgingly, like chores, get something out of it. That part of me is my mother. It cleanses the soul, no pun intended.